Well, good evening, and thank you for tuning out. I got my cap on. I want you to see that because I want to go old school. We're doing that, the caps and hats today. So, pardon me for being inside with it on, but I'm just telling you, I felt like going old school.
All right.
Because I am old school. Anyway, you're watching Fathers Who Care. You know, every week what we try to do for you, the viewing audience, we try to bring to you some individuals, some information who've been vetted, folks who are compassionate, folks who have been doing the good work, folks who really are standing in the gap for those who are less fortunate. And I'm not going to say no more than that other than I got another whammy tonight. I got another good brother from the side of town who's really committed to the work. Those who know him know him. Those who don't know him, we will introduce him to you. But in all seriousness, our objective this evening is rather simple. We're here to empower those who are less enlightened, to enlighten those who are less informed, and to continue to do the good work that we've been called to do. It's rather simple for us. We crystal clear on our purpose, all right? And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have some good conversation talking about what can we do as a community, as men, as individuals, to continue to empower our young people, to empower the less fortunate, and to do the good work to help those who can't help themselves. That's what we want to talk about tonight, and we're going to do just that. So we're hoping that this show will be instructional, informative, and I'm trying to get this gleam out this thing here, so bear with us, because we're doing it live too, so forgive that if we mess up for a second. But that's all good. We're ready now. Thank you so much again. So listen, we got tonight a good friend of mine, a good brother. I mean, I've been watching him. I know we've been in the circle all the time. Every time we see each other, it's nothing but love. And I mean, we stand on the shoulders of some good folks out here in our community, i.e. the congressman and Netta Wilson. I mean, we just stand on the shoulders. We all do, and we give reverence to those before us. And so I would be remiss if I didn't do that and ask for permission from the elders to move forward. Thank you. And so I'm going to go ahead and move forward in this conversation, talking to our good brother Ed. Now, Ed, of course, is an individual who's a senior case manager, right?
Yep.
For Sankofa Safe Child Initiative.
Yes, indeed.
So that means he putting in the work, because we know anybody that work for Sankofa Safe Child Initiative are committed to the work. And I know this because I know her and I know you. And that's a good thing about it, because the work supersedes you, all right? It really do. I mean, you have been committed to the work. You do the work with you endlessly do it. You're committed to doing it. You don't do it for show. You don't do it for $1. But listen, please, if y'all feel like y'all want to give folks a raise, give raises. We'll take them too. All right? But in all seriousness, I just want to say to you all who don't know Ed is really, truly a man of God. He's a believer. He's a servant of social change. He's really standing in the gap. He put his whole public life on display every day. I mean, I don't think I'm just kicking it, brother. I'll be watching some of your posts every now and then. Every now and then you try to get away and do something here and do. I'll be watching, But in all, we don't really have very much of a private life, All of our life is public.
Yep.
I mean, everything we do, we out here. So it's no shame that we are committed to who we are, because we are who we are.
Exactly.
And we love what we do. But tonight we want to kind of talk specifically about some things that we think you should know, i.e., you should know that grandparents are significantly raising more grandchildren than you would be surprised. And there's some things coming up on this side of town where we always like to highlight our elders. And I think it's important that young people always respect your elders, because that is your stock. Those are your values, your norms. And we want those who are watching tonight to call in, because we're going to talk specifically about, of course, grandparents raising grandchildren, the upcoming symposium. We're going to talk about the census. We're going to talk about civic engagement. We're going to talk about why should you be involved. We're going to talk about how can we collectively work together to pool our resources in our community and create entrepreneurs and all that other good stuff in our neighborhood. So we really want to use this show to enlighten those of you who are watching via CAN TV and via Facebook. And we just want you to know that, listen, we really are committed to empowering you. We want to empower you and your families. And first of all, we love you. All right? We love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. But anyway, I want to get in here and talk about my main man, Ed. So, Ed, listen, it's the custom of this show. I know you're familiar with the show, but it's the custom of this show tonight, if you don't mind, and you give us some liberties. We like to highlight you. And the way we would like to highlight you and the work that you're doing is, as I shared before, we talked about the shoulders that you stand on, and I know you will repeat that too, because that's who you are. But we want to also take this to another level, in that we want to ask you personally, if you don't mind, who is Ed Lanier Bickham?
A servant. Servant more than anything, and I say that word with pride. I'm someone who believes in serving your community. Someone who works tirelessly to serve. And I think it's because of the giants whose shoulders we stand on that I take that approach. But I humbly say, first and foremost, I am a servant. I am in the business of keeping families together and empowering my people more than anything.
You know, and you're rather modest, and I know this. We try to be as modest as we can within the framework of what we do, even though we know that the Almighty hasn't gifted us with a certain talent and certain gifts, which are ours, all right? Okay, what nobody say, those are our gifts, all right? And can't nobody take them.
You right about that?
All right, so I'm at peace with that. But for the purpose of being able to help others, there are certain gifts and certain tools that you bring to the table. You got this passion about being a case manager. That's not a job. That's not. I mean, that's not a job to take lightly.
Right.
You are literally a social worker. All right. You are literally an individual who goes way beyond the call of duty every time you service one person to make sure that all of their human needs are met. Talk about that for me.
Well, I think that passion comes from the fact that I love people, and I've been trained properly to do the work that I'm here to do, and I think that's important. You never stop learning. Like I never reach a ceiling, but because of the passion and because of the training, I'm able to provide a different type of services to people who are considered the underserved.
Right.
We pride ourselves on meeting people at their level and then uplifting them to the level that we know that they are capable of being.
Right.
And I like to think that at times we've mastered the art of empowering our people and getting them back on track. Our mission is keeping families intact.
Right.
It sounds simple, but sometimes that can be a tedious thing. And we may be referred a client for one particular thing, only to come to find out that they need 4 or 5 other things. And our goal is to either provide those other things or work with partners like yourself and other individuals and other agencies who can provide the things that we can't provide, right? So we value the network. We value the bonding. We value our relationships, because we know that we can't do everything, but we know that there are experts who can, and we like our close bonds with those particular experts, and we work to serve those clients.
Hey, Sister Irma. Hey, Brother Solomon. Hey, Sister Pam. Listen, we got our guest with us tonight. We got none other than my main man, Ed Bickham, senior case manager of Sankofa. Hey, Ed, listen, I do know what Sankofa means. I've taken my trips abroad. I've been to Vulture's Island. I've been Ghana. I've been to Cape Coast, Kumasi. I've been all up in there with the Kumasi, all up in there. What does Sankofa mean?
It's funny that you mentioned the nation of Ghana, because Sankofa is a Ghanaian word.
Right.
It means literally looking back to go forward.
Right.
And our symbol is a mythical bird that flies with its head turned backward. It means you really can't understand or really accomplish where you're going until you fully understand where you come from.
It's like this bird, huh?
Yep, exactly.
It's like that bird, right? Yeah. Let's get that bird up a little more. Now educate.
So we value ourselves on learning from our past so that it can positively affect our future.
Right.
And that's what Sankofa means. It means
Absolutely.
looking back to go forward. Because how can I know where to go if I don't know where I come from?
Go back and fetch it. Go back and fetch it. So listen, we're talking tonight about how can we as community stakeholders, community leaders, men of purpose, men making a difference, continue to make a difference in the lives of those who are less fortunate. I'm going to give you an example how you can be actively involved. Be actively involved in the census. Be counted. If you don't get counted, then you don't count. We're talking about the appropriation of resources and or services in the upwards tune of $675 billion. All right, that if you had not been counted, those resources and or services resources will be appropriated someplace else. So tell me, why is it important for people to be registered to vote? Why should people be counted in the census? Why should people understand that knowledge is power? And please wash your hands. This coronavirus is real. All right.
It is. You matter. It's just that simple. You matter, and you won't get what's rightfully yours if you are not counted. All right. So when they knock on your door, when they ring your doorbell,
Which they will.
It is vital that you open the door
Yeah.
and you count every single individual in your house
Because each one represents $1,800.
and those dollars matter. Not just that, but from a legislative standpoint, we can lose a congressional seat and things of that nature. Now we have people who are supposed to be serving us in positions of power who don't even care about us, all because a group of us chose not to be counted.
Yeah, you froze up.
Yeah.
And you let the resources leave your community.
Yeah.
But now, listen, I was talking to you as we were sitting out, and of course, all love to our queen, Annetta Wilson. We love you, darling, and we're with you. We're with you. We continue to pray for you and your family. Keep doing the good work that you've been doing, sister. And trust me, you put some good stock in this brother over here, and I can see it. I feel it. You know, I know it because I was once of him. All right. So we did some of the same. I also worked there.
Right.
So you know, we come out the same stock, brother. So from one to another. All right. Believe me, and she picked strong women. Believe me, she don't pick no weak dudes around her. Believe me, she don't play. She picked the strong ones, brother, because they won't last. All right, you know we ain't got no problem with yielding to a queen, and she is a queen because she's a queen that empower men. So anyway, let's get back talk about the symposium. Tell us about what's going on with the symposium. People want to know. Here's a new symposium that we're talking about today. It's not new to us, but it might be new to you, and we're talking about empowering grandparents.
So it's a innovative and powerful 2-day event at the JLM Center.
Let me do this. Go ahead.
2622 West Jackson. So
Right.
it's a 2-day statewide kinship care, grandparents raising grandchildren, foster care, and adoption symposium. Right. So we're going to provide productive conversations and vital information that will cater to each one of those categories.
Right.
It's a symposium on child welfare, where we're trying to find better ways to serve those in care, but more importantly, to keep families together and to reunite families.
You said it earlier, keeping families intact. Right.
Keeping families intact.
So what is this? Tell us, can people come to it?
Yes, it is open to the community. We encourage you to come. Again, it'll be Thursday the 19th and Friday the 20th of this month, March. It'll be at the JLM Center, 2622 West Jackson. And yes, it is open to the public. There'll be 2 days of keynote speakers, some workshops. There'll be networking events. Well, there's going to be a reception on the Friday evening, so people can just get to know each other on a level where we're not sitting in a workshop learning.
Yeah.
And it's going to be catered to those who want to be adoptive parents, who want to be foster parents, who know individuals or might be going through situations where they're trying to gain custody of their relatives. So this is something that's vital to us.
But most importantly, this is an evening of sharing resources. And networking. And rubbing shoulders and building relationships with folks who are veterans in this game.
Yes, indeed.
This ain't coming together with folk who ain't true to this work. The folks that's going to be in this event are going to be folks who are really committed to the work that we do.
Yeah.
Give me some names of some people who will be there.
Congressman, the great Danny Davis.
You mean the statesman?
Yes.
The legend.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The legend. Nikki Harvey. Dr. Terry Solomon will be there. Of course, our queen, Annetta Wilson, will be there. We're also going to have Dr. Vessel. Yeah.
That's my queen too.
That's right. That's another one of our queens.
Yeah.
The great Donald Dew.
That's my main man.
Angela Barron Jeffrey.
Yep.
Sharon McDaniels, the Dr. Sharon McDaniels.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a who's who statewide, and these are some national names I'm calling on
absolutely.
too, who are flying in just to give us some information that's important to our communities.
So this is going to be a mega evening, a mega 2 days.
Mega 2 days, all days, 9 to 5 on Thursday, 9 to 8 on Friday.
So it's going on.
On the west side of Chicago.
On the west side.
2622 West Jackson.
It's on.
Yes,
at the Miller Center.
Yes, it is.
The JL, y'all know where it's at. You know Johnny Miller.
Johnny
So anyway,
Miller.
let's get back and talk to our good brother. Now, I wanted to ask you, I want to put this out there about civic engagement and why it's important for folks to be civically minded, but to also be engaged. Because I think it's important. I mean, I can't call on you, good brother, which I do love you, all right? But I can't call on you to continue to go out there and do something on my behalf if I'm not going out there and doing something on somebody else's behalf, less myself, all right?
Right.
So why should people be civically engaged?
We work better as a unit. If you're doing your part and I'm doing my part and I can handle the things that you can't handle and you can handle the things I can't handle, it serves the greater good of our community. Also, it helps people, right? It uplifts people. And when our people are uplifted, they bring more to the table. A lot of times when we hear the word resources, we think money, but resources is manpower, your intellect, your talents.
Intellectual property.
So being civically engaged means that I'm bringing my talents to serve my people, to lift them up so that they can do the same.
Let me ask this question, man, and I'm going to cut through the chase, all right? Do you really love the people?
Man, I love the people.
Why?
Because the people love me.
Ain't that something?
So
this work that we do, it's easy to say, man, I'm tired. And break to the left, right? But when you love what you do, you don't get tired. You just have a moment, you take a break, and you come on back.
And every day something happens that makes you say, this is why we do the work.
This is why we do it.
Every day.
And that is you, because of you. But listen, Ed, this way this show works, we open up the lines to talk about people. How can we continue to work together to empower each other? Why should you be actively involved in voters registration? Why should you be civically minded? And why should you participate in the census? Opportunities galore is what we're talking about. Caller, you on the air. Let's kick it.
Yes, I have a question for the young man on the show.
That's Ed.
Ed,
yes.
I see that you're very young, and I'm listening to you, and you're very knowledgeable. And I just want to know, a young man like yourself, do you ever try to reach out to other young brothers? Because so many of our young brothers have went astray. Do you ever try to reach out to other young brothers to give them the knowledge that you have to make them want to do something positive and productive with their community and whatnot, and just do positive things? I just want to hear your response.
Thank you for the question, ma'am.
Thank you. So that's a good question. Yes, every day. Every opportunity I can. Every chance I get in the grocery store, even when I'm hanging out partying and the conversation to go into something else. Every day. I take every opportunity that I engage with a person as a networking opportunity. Because I value the potential. You would be amazed of how brilliant so many of our brothers are. And they've never had anyone tell them that they were brilliant.
Just need the opportunity, man.
So the opportunity matters. So yes, as much as I can, yes, I do. And I'm open. We're located at 4041 West Roosevelt Road. That's our Sankofa house location. I can be reached there 7 days a week if you know some young brothers. 773-542-9900. Just tell them, call and ask for Mr.
One more time on the number, please.
773-542-9900.
Listen, you're watching Fathers Who Care right now. You can obviously hear that we on fire up in this joint. So if you want to call in, seriously call in and talk about what we collectively do to empower each other. I mean, we talking Sankofa tonight. We're talking about going back and fetching it. We ain't leaving nobody behind. We're talking about all of us matter when we come to the table. We're talking about bringing all of your intellectual properties to the table, pooling your resources, loving on each other, supporting each other, forgiving each other. Caller, you on the air. Welcome to the show.
Supporting each other, forgiving each other. Caller, you on the air. Welcome to the show.
Okay, we're getting some draft back. Are you there? Is there a caller? Okay, we lost that caller, but call us back. We love you too. And listen, you have an opportunity here at Fathers Who Care, 312-738-1060. Call in, tell us what you're doing out there to make a difference. You're doing some work out there with an initiative called Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. And you all been doing this for a minute, man. So this thing is a national thing going on. It's national going on with Sankofa. It ain't just a fly-by-night program. And trust me, it ain't never been a fly-by-night program. All right, even when it was being done over in the the church over on Roosevelt, it ain't never been a fly-by-night program. However, tell us what's going on. What is this symposium about?
This symposium is about giving those individuals. Now we don't want to pigeonhole it to just grandparents. That's why I used the first term I used was kinship care.
Yes.
This is anyone who's raising a relative. Now, in our communities, we just see that a lot with grandparents, but you would be amazed at how many aunties, uncles, cousins, big sisters, big brothers.
So just combine them both.
Yeah, it's an intergenerational thing.
Yeah.
And our goal is to provide the information and the services that those family
And
members
resources.
need. And most importantly, the resources that those families need to keep that family intact. So we do that by community groups. Advocacy is very important to us. Walking them through the steps, right? Because it's a legal process.
Some folks might want to be a foster parent. Some folks are foster parents. Folks have lost fostership, whatever they call it. You know what I mean? The right to be foster parents. You know. Let's get this caller, brother, because I'm fired up. Caller, thank you so much for calling. Listen, we love you too. What's your comment or question, please?
I heard you mention the young people that will be at the reception on Thursday evening.
Yes.
What is the group's name?
Can you repeat that? I think I lost.
You said, what's the group's name for the reception?
Yes.
Okay.
The Douglas Park Performing Company.
Yeah.
A group of kids. They're going to come to us from our Afrocentric perspective, and they are going to put on a show.
So
right?
you got young folks for
we got.
So this is truly intergenerational.
Yeah.
Listen, ride with me, man, because we bridging the intergenerational gap.
Yeah.
So let's do that. I'm just telling you straight out. It sounded like the Queen was on the phone.
Yeah, it does.
All right, I'm just telling you. It sounds like the Queen was on the phone. I'm not gonna take liberties, but if that is the Queen on the phone, you know we love us some Queen up in this joint, and she get high praise up in here.
Yes, she does.
But go ahead, tell us again what's happening.
The Douglas Park Performing Company. They will be entertaining at the reception, and they are going to give you a wonderful show. It's amazing when you can see kids who get in tune with their ancestry, right? Because what we all about, looking back to go forward. So we're going to have some kids performing for you African dance and song.
You can't bring the people together without African
it's going to be
dance
amazing,
and song, bro.
right? We have to call on our ancestors, and the children do the best job of calling on the ancestors.
That's what they're for.
This is something that it will be a treat. You don't want to miss it.
I'm going to take the liberty because I've known, and I hope the Queen is still watching, and I mean that literally, the Queen. She's always had that African spirit.
Yes.
She is true African. She's true to the call. And I'm saying, listen, I'm giving it to her right now while the Lord is still blessing her. That, thank you, sister, for the work that you've empowered us to do, for the encouragements, for the nurturing, for the arms you put around us when we was at our least and trying to get up to our best. You took us up, you guided us, you gave us healing, you gave us direction, you gave us a chance in spite of, all right? And I want to say to you, Queen, your work would never go unnoticed. We are living examples of what you have given us along with our congressmen and others. Listen, folk can call anybody whatever they want to call them, but don't call them that in front of me. No. All right? All right? Don't call her that in front of me because I ain't having it. But let's get back to the topic, my friend. Tell me, how many grandparents are raising grandchildren in the state of Illinois or that you know about? Period.
700,000 in the state of Illinois.
What?
2.7 million.
700,000.
Yes.
Grandparents raising grandchildren in Illinois.
Yep.
And you say something about
2.7 million in the nation. But this will really blow your mind. These are just the numbers that are counted. This doesn't count the grandparents who the parents still have guardianship, but the kid's been at Big Mama house for the last 2 years.
Right.
So if we could somehow count those numbers, these numbers might be double.
What?
Yeah.
Well, but listen, you know what? I'm going to just say this to you because I'm a grandparent. Hey, trust me, I'm raising son too. It's real. Yeah. All right. It's real. But it can't be no other way in the hood.
Yeah.
Because that's
what we do.
That's our fabric.
Right.
I mean, and that's how we know.
It takes the village.
Man, listen, that's how we know ours already. Because we have to step up and do it. Because we have certain values and we bring certain norms to the table. All right. And so it comes with our territory.
And it's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA, brother. Listen, I'm at my best. I'm telling you, I'm at my best when I'm in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I'm being free. Because everybody loving on everybody and it's genuine. But let's get back to you. So tell us what's new on the horizon over there with you guys at Sankofa.
Well, we're still doing the work. Speaking of census, we're going to be doing some census work ourselves.
Are you?
Yeah. So we did get a grant to do some census work. So please,
south
people,
side or the west
on
side?
the west side of Chicago.
Get outta
yes.
here.
Yes, indeed. So we will be doing some census work as well, and we're still providing the services, the counseling, the parenting classes, the anger management. But most importantly, we're still doing the advocacy, making sure that the families that come through there leave better in which they came. But more importantly, let they leave as a unit.
You know what I think we should do? Because I've been collaborating with some folks also, particularly Dennis Deere.
Okay. Good brother. That.
Yeah, he cool people, real cool people. He from the cloth.
Yeah.
And I think we should do an event, a census event in Lawndale.
Okay.
A collaborative event in Lawndale, all right? I think we should pool some of our resources, man, and come out there and make some stuff happen in the hood.
Because we got to be counted.
If we're going to be counted,
we
we're going to be counted one way or the
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
It's how you want to be counted that matter.
Yes,
So
it
I'm
does.
thinking that we should collaborate some efforts,
Okay.
work smart and not hard.
Right.
And bring those cats and those folks who are the caucuses, the black caucuses and all this stuff, bring them all together, bridge some gaps, olive branch some folk, and let's get the work done. Because our community don't have no time to waste.
None at all. None at
So
all.
let's contemplate. Let's have some conversation on that. Share that with the Queen, and you and I break some bread.
It's
and
funny
we'll-
you mentioned Commissioner Deere because the Queen was at his office for a meeting or training earlier.
That don't surprise me,
See
bro.
how
Brother, the spirit
how the
don't lie.
universe works. The
Yeah.
spirit does not lie.
No, don't worry.
it does.
Brother. And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the spirit knew that.
Yeah.
And the spirit don't lie, bro. You
Doesn't
can
lie
fake
at
it if
all.
you want to, but you
Right.
can't fake it with me.
Right. The spirit
Anyway,
doesn't lie.
but let's keep this thing rolling. So I want to come on back and talk about what are family rights. The term.
Family rights. It's the rights that address the issues of families. Okay. And as a family member, you have rights.
Like if you're a grandparent,
If
you
you
have
are a
rights.
grandparent, if you are a relative, you
Yeah.
have rights. So those are rights that are pertaining to the family. Those are the rights that you have to your relative. Like there's this notion that the system wants your children. DCFS don't want your children.
Trust me, they don't.
It costs too much money for them to keep your children.
Yeah, they don't want them.
And there are resources
Yeah,
in place
but
for
thank
family
God for
members.
DCFS,
Yes,
right?
thank God for them.
All right.
But there are resources in place
Yeah.
and rights that we all hold as a relative that can assist us with making sure our relatives don't go in the system.
Right.
So when we talk about family rights, that's specifically what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about the rights of the family members so that we can do what we can do and tap into the services that we need to tap into to get our family in our home. Going back to keeping the family intact.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Listen, we didn't want to. We just ain't gonna do a boring show. I'm sorry, wrong station. You might want to find another one. This show is about enlightening, engaging, and empowering our people, and that's what we're gonna do. And we want to encourage you. Thank you, caller. We're gonna hit you in a hot minute. Please be brief. Caller, you on the air. So what we want to do, we want you to close us out with some closing comments, please. However you feel.
Be engaged. If you don't do anything else, be engaged. We would love for you to come to the symposium on March 19th and March 20th. That is one way to
Where's it
engage.
gonna be?
At the JLM Center at 2622 West Jackson.
And who's invited?
All are invited. Anybody who has a passion for children, who's looking to adopt, who's looking to be a foster parent, who's a relative, who may be looking
Man,
to
is it
take
gonna
into
be any
some-
food?
Yeah, yes, there will be food.
Because I ain't coming if it ain't no food.
Well, we know we got to feed you. So
it's gonna be food?
Yes, there will be food there. And on Friday, there'll also be entertainment from the Douglas Park Performing Company.
You mean
So-
to tell me I'm going to get some free food
And free entertainment.
and entertainment?
And you're going to get a bunch of information, a bunch of
Information, resources, networking opportunities.
opportunities. Yeah.
Listen, you know what you just found out. You just found out there's another jewel in the hood. And we're encouraging you to come on out and support this event, but most importantly, continue to support each other, love on each other, be a support system for each other. We can do better than what we're doing. We got to do better than what we're doing. Our children are watching us, our community need us, and we are black men standing in the gap for those who are less fortunate. I am because he was, and because he was, I am his brother. And I'm his brother. So help us help each other as we do the work we're doing. Listen, God bless you. Good night and keep the faith. Peace.